Hello YouTube, Robert Alvarez the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. I have the rare honor and pleasure of having Isis the Alpha Female in yet another video. This is my second video tonight, and she was in that one and she's now in this one. This is very auspicious. If I played lottery tickets, I'd be running out to buy a lottery ticket right now. Because we know that there'll be another 50 videos where she will not be in any of them. And then when she feels like it after 50 videos, she'll be maybe in the 52nd or 53rd. So I'm milking this for all it's worth. She looks so gorgeous. She looks so beautiful. I love you. I do love you, Isis. I want to wring your neck sometimes, but I do love you. So I am very happy because I want to talk about the next entry in Llewellyn's 2018 tarot calendar. Insight, Spreads, and Tips by Barbara Moore. So this is May, and the card that's featured is from the Victorian Fairy Tarot, and it is the Six of Spring. Now, this is more commonly the Six of Wands, and then we're going to talk about understanding nuances, the symbol, and I'm going to conclude this video doing the Road to Victory spread. Now, in case you're wondering, prior to buying this calendar, hello, Durga the kitten. Hello, Durga. You're so cute. Now, Durga will not be able to stay here for a while because, I'm going to lay the cards out here. This cloth was a gift from a long-standing client who has 2 cats of her own, so I think she'll be okay with Durga the kitten being on the cloth for a little bit. In case you're wondering, no, I do not have the Victorian Fairy Tarot. It is a visually beautiful tarot deck, but I did not know this tarot deck existed until I purchased the calendar. So, but I'm going to be using one of my, you know what, I'm going to say it's one of my personal favorite tarot decks, but I'll tell you about that later. So, yeah, we're going to talk about the Six of Spring, which is traditionally the Six of Wands. We're going to talk about understanding nuances, the symbol, and then I'll conclude the video doing the Road to Victory spread. So first, I've talked about different tarot decks that I enjoy, and I do like tarot decks where the people who create or illustrate the tarot deck take a little bit of liberty with tradition. So rather than Six of Wands, the Wands cards are called spring cards, as in corresponding to the season of spring. And right now we're on the season, at least in this part of the world, we're in the season of spring. So it reads down here, traditionally the Six of Wands shows a parade for a hero. Victory is part of the meaning. But this version, meaning, and I'm going to show you the Six of Spring, more commonly known as the Six of Wands, from the Victorian Fairy Tarot. But this version highlights the other important aspect. The victory was a group effort with everyone playing a role. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 fairies. And they look very happy, and they're very excited, and they're just very peaceful, and this is lovely. This feels lovely. This image feels lovely to me. So yes, so sometimes victory is a group effort. Understanding nuances. Okay, hold on, because I'm noticing what Durga is doing to this, and I'm like, I love you, but I'm going to put you over here. Okay. Yes. Let me shake this out a little bit. Okay. I don't use this cloth that often. The cloth that I normally use for private readings is a deep, rich purple. But every once in a while I'll use this cloth in addition to it. But this is only for private readings because that's why it still looks so good. Okay. Understanding nuances. Knowing the subtleties of the cards makes your readings clearer. To better understand the differences between the cards, compare them to similar cards. Death, the Tower, and the Ten of Swords show different types of endings. The Two of Cups and Ten of Cups show different stages of romantic relationships. Compare the Six of Wands and Five of Swords and see two very different victories. The Six of Wands victory is inclusive and benefits all. The Five of Swords is a Pyrrhic victory that benefits no one. Even the quote-unquote victor ends up wondering if it was worth the cost. In a more traditional tarot deck, the Five of Swords depicts somebody. It's so funny because I often look at that card as another card of theft. And theft has been on my mind a lot lately. No, I'm not planning a bank heist. It's too involved. And I'd be too tired by the time I was done before there. So anyway. But really, it's like, what is the lesson? No, I'm not going down that path. I was going to go down a philosophical path, and I'm like, no. There are still some things I need to do before I go to bed for the evening. So, so this is what I'm going to recommend you do. So take a look at cards that are very similar to each other. And one of the best examples that I can think of from the major arcana are the World and the Wheel of Fortune. Look at the similarities and look at the differences. So understanding nuances really is about looking at the similarities and the differences between two cards. Or if you want to take it to the next level, 3 cards. Because you know what, I remember, I'm just remembering this, when I led my very first beginner's level tarot course. It was from September through October of 2001. And I distinctly remember that a lot of the participants wanted to know more about tarot card combinations. And when I led my very first intermediate/advanced level tarot course, which was in November of 2001, the first class was all about tarot card combinations. So begin to look at 2 cards that are similar to each other or different, and see what you notice. See the similarities you notice and see the differences you notice. And then take it a step further and add a 3rd card. You know, let's say, again, using the major arcana as an example, let's say that you took Trump 1, the Magician card, and then Trump 10, the Wheel of Fortune card, and then Trump 19, the Sun card. What are the similarities between those 3 cards? And what are the differences? Some of those similarities may be incredibly apparent to you, and some of them may not. And some of the differences may be immediately apparent to you, and some of them may not. If you do this, let me know in the comments what your experiences were like. I would love to hear about that. Now, the symbol, Hawthorn Flowers. This deck incorporates the symbolic language of flowers, which was popular in Victorian times. Hawthorn represents hope, something any true leader or hero desires to instill in their people. Now I'm going to actually ask my I keep forgetting the awesome part, please, my awesome audio-visual person to do a close-up of the Hawthorn flowers. Now, I'm mentioning this for a specific reason. In magical traditions, and when I say magical traditions, I mean like ancient Celtic magical traditions, spring began not on the date of the vernal equinox, but it began the day that the hawthorn tree bloomed. When the hawthorn tree bloomed, that was officially the first day of spring. Now, for the record, I happen to live in an area where there are hawthorn trees relatively close to me. But I have yet to see hawthorn blooms when that happens. Hopefully next year or the year after that, we'll see what happens. So, since spring is symbolic of new beginnings, since it's symbolic of fiery energy, because remember, the date of the vernal equinox, which this year was Tuesday, March 21st, 2018, at least in this part of the world, was also the same date that the sun entered Aries, the strongest of the fire signs and the sign of new beginnings. Spring is about new beginnings. So we're in that springtide season. We're in that springtime season. At least, again, this part of the world. So this is still a time of new beginnings. And then once we go from spring to summer, we're going to be like, okay, let's enhance, let's accentuate, let's intensify those new beginnings. Now, the Road to Victory spread. I'm going to read this first, and then I'm going to start getting the deck ready. So it's a 4-card spread. The first card reads, how you can shine. Meaning that the first card means how you can shine. And I'll say that in a minute. Card number 2 is who or what supports you. Card number 3, what you accomplish. Card number 4, your reward. Now, when facing a project, this spread can help you identify the best qualities to bring to it and who can best help you manifest it. The reading may reveal a different idea. I heard a click for a moment. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? It's okay? Okay. I had a conversation with my awesome audiovisual person. The reading may reveal a different idea of what you will accomplish than you imagined. Perhaps your vision could be larger or focused in a different direction. Your reward could also be different than you imagine and may be ultimately more fulfilling. To follow the 6 of Wands idea of shared victory even further, pull an extra card to answer this question. How can I share the reward or recognition with others? So here's what I'm going to do. So first of all, it's been a while since I've done one of these spreads. So let me just begin by saying this. When I do spreads in my YouTube videos, I'm primarily focusing on me. And I know that there will be times when a reading that I'm conducting on one of my YouTube videos resonates with at least one person watching the video. In fact, the last time that I did a video like this, it was, I used one of the spreads from the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. I think it was the Dreamer spread. And it's so funny because I used that deck with a regular client for her phone reading a little while ago. So I'm still very psychically open. And I remember one of the first comments that I received about that video was, I felt like this reading was just for me, which blew my mind and honored me enormously when that person wrote that comment on that particular video, on that YouTube video. So even though I'm going to be focusing on me giving myself this reading, I'm going to be conducting this reading as if I'm conducting it for a paying client. So with that being said, the tarot deck that I'm going to use is one of my personal favorite tarot decks, and I happen to love this tarot deck. It's called the New Palladini Tarot by David Palladini. I love this deck's imagery a lot more than the imagery of the Aquarian Tarot. I like the imagery of the Aquarian Tarot. David Palladini illustrated that tarot deck as well. But when I look at the imagery of the New Palladini Tarot, it resonates more strongly to me. I find it much more visually appealing. Thank you so much. So actually, before I do that, I'm going to spritz myself with some lavender-scented Florida water. And I call upon all the celestial beings that are most sacred to me, and I call upon all the goddesses, gods, angels, fairies, ascended masters, and saints, psychic guides, Reiki guides, spirit guides, guardian angels, and ancestors to assist me in this consultation of the sacred tarot. By moon and sea, and so must it be. So what I'm going to do now, oh yeah, everything does match. I didn't even notice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shuffle the deck. Thank you so much. And get it ready as if I was conducting a reading. Okay. This is the reading before the reading. 9 of Cups, Knight of Swords, 7 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles. Oh, how funny is that? It's a 4-card spread. 4 cards jumped out. Okay. Okay. So as far as I'm concerned, so this is how I'm looking at these cards right now. Number 1, the topic that I have in mind for this spread is the right one, hence the 9 of Cups. The Knight of Swords for me is another aspect of the spiritual warrior. So I'm looking at this like my mind is focused on the right topic with regards to why I'm going to consult the Road to Victory spread. The 7 of Cups leads me to believe that yes, it is a multifaceted topic. Yes, there are a lot of different nuances. Yes, there are a lot of different aspects, players, forces, physical and non-physical, and of course that it shall be prosperous for all the individuals involved. Okay, so part of me wants to leave these cards where they are, but another part of me is like, I want to see if any of these cards show up in the actual reading, not this, which is the reading before the reading. So again, 9 of Cups, Knight of Swords, 7 of Cups, 10 of Pentacles. Now I'm going to reshuffle them to get them ready. Okay. Now, when I give myself a reading, I cut the deck into 3 piles. I usually use whichever hand I'm divinely guided to use. Today I'm using the right hand. And the pile that I'm most drawn to is the 3rd pile, or the right pile. So I'm going to place that on top of the other 2. And then we'll begin the reading. I'm just checking the time, because something needs to happen in a few minutes. I want to make sure that I'm ready for that. Isn't that right, my awesome audiovisual person? Okay. So, I'm going to lay out the 4 cards that comprise the Road to Victory spread. And then I am going to lay out a 5th card to answer the 5th question, or the question before the reading. And then we'll take it from there. So, for the record, my question has to do with my professional psychic practice, specifically over the next 6 weeks to 6 months. So I'm giving myself that specific time frame. And I'm not going to go into specifics publicly right now with regards to what exactly about my professional psychic practice. But that is the focus of this reading. That is what I'm focusing my energies on with regards to consulting the Sacred Tarot. And also, I wanted to have a specific time frame, 6 weeks to 6 months from now. So, the first card is How You Can Shine. And the card is The Last Judgment, which is more commonly known as the Judgment card. Now, here's what's so interesting about this card. This is the card that traditionally depicts Archangel Gabriel, who is the divine messenger of the archangels. So, and not surprisingly, is the archangel that is astrologically aligned with the moon. So one of the ways that I can shine, especially with my professional psychic practice during the next 6 weeks to 6 months, is by number 1, calling upon Archangel Gabriel to help me understand the messages that I receive from my psychic guides more clearly and more concisely. And it's not a coincidence that I tend to wear a lot of lunar colors, both on my when I'm doing my videos and when I'm not doing videos. So that is how I'm going to shine more brightly, with Archangel Gabriel's assistance. So I'm going to thank you in advance, Archangel Gabriel, for helping me understand the messages that are going to come to me through my readings over the next 6 weeks to 6 months. And I know exactly what else I need to do to more deeply connect with him. Now, the next card, number 2, card number 2, who or what supports you? The Wheel of Fortune. You know, I cannot make this stuff up. I just can't. Isis Fortuna, goddess of the sacred tarot, I thank you as well in advance for helping my readings be more powerful, more concise, more clear, more healing. I know what you're here. I know that you are here for me, and you are lovingly and lavishly reminding me how much you are here for me. So I thank you in advance again for helping my readings be more powerful and more clear and more healing. So that's the who. Now the what. You know, it's funny. Normally when I give readings, I don't usually wear something that attracts money and prosperity. Because as far as I'm concerned, my focus when I'm conducting a reading is making sure that I'm understanding what the client is telling me, meaning their questions, their concerns, their fears, and also making sure that I'm fully understanding the messages I'm receiving from my psychic guides and my guardian angels during the client's reading. So I think this is also telling me, in addition to wearing things or using items that increase my clarity and illumination and that enhance my psychic ability, also use things that increase my prosperity, which makes perfect sense considering that I want to be a prosperous psychic. I want to be a more prosperous psychic than I am already. And now, card number 3, what you accomplish. Page of Rods. Now that's an interesting card. I normally look at the Page of Rods, which is more commonly known as the Page of Wands, as the spiritual apprentice. So I think that one of the things that I'm going to accomplish with regards to my professional psychic practice during the next 6 weeks to 6 months is going back to the beginning. I feel that at this point in my life and in my level of tarot study and in my level of tarot practice, I'm at an advanced level. I would even say a mastery level. And I don't feel uncomfortable saying that. I don't feel that it's inappropriate for me to say that. I think, however, that I need to go back to actually learning something. And it's so funny because there's something that I've been led to do, and I haven't made the time to do it. And I think that now more than ever, I actually need to ask all of the celestial beings that are sacred to me to help me have the time to do it. Not just the resources, the finances, the support, but the time. Like to actually be able to devote time out of my schedule for this specific formalized study. I'm having a sip of water. Or what I'm going to call formalized study, because it could be something similar to that or something different than that. Okay, card number 4, your reward. King of Swords. Now that is an unexpected card for me. So, but you know what? It makes a lot of sense, and I'll tell you why. Since last year, I've noticed that when I engage in rituals and meditations the night before the full moon, which is called the bright moon, or the night of the full moon, I find that I have difficulty sleeping that same night. Sometimes I don't sleep at all. And I'm a lot more emotional. Like any little thing irritates the shit out of me. any little thing that somebody says or does just upsets the crap out of me. So I find that with the presence of the King of Swords, my reward is more balanced emotions. My emotions being more balanced, my emotions being more even, more balanced, more harmonious. And for me, this card does have a strong Libra feel. It's one of the few tarot decks that I've encountered where the sword of the King of Swords is not at an angle. It is completely balanced, and it's pointing right up. It's pointing directly up. So I feel that my reward for all of this, especially with regards to my professional psychic practice during the next 6 weeks to 6 months, is more balanced and harmonious emotions, which I think is a good thing for everybody on the planet, but I digress. And now, to follow the Six of Wands idea of shared victory even further, pull an extra card to answer this question. How can I share the reward or recognition with others? So, how can I share the recognition or reward with others? So I'm fanning out the cards. It's you. Okay. So that's the card that's going to answer that question. And then the final message card will be the last card, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so I'm going to read this one last time. This card represents, how can I share the reward or recognition with others? And it is Five of Rods. So again, Five of Rods is more commonly known as Five of Wands. So how I can share the reward or recognition with others is eliminating war, eliminating dissension. And you know, it's so funny because last night, somebody who's been availing herself of my psychic services treated me to dinner. And it's so funny because at one point she asked me how I deal with competition. And one of the things that I said to her was, you know, competition is a poverty consciousness concept. I do not look at any other professional psychic, any other professional reader or intuitive as my competition. You know, I live in New Jersey, but I live not too far from Manhattan, which is one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. And I don't feel like I'm competing with any other person who gives readings professionally in the New York City area. I don't. I've never felt that way. You know, there are other readers who give readings at Catland, and I don't feel like they're my competition. I don't think I'm their competition at all. There are other people who give readings at Notions and Potions. I'm giving readings there for the first time this Saturday, June 9th, 2018, from 12 noon to 6:30 p.m. Goddess willing, it will be the first of many times that I give readings in that store. And I don't feel like any of the other readers are my competition. I'm also an energy healing practitioner, specifically a Reiki master teacher, and I don't feel that any other Reiki practitioner is my competition. I've never felt that way. So for me, the answer to that question is I'm going to help other readers fully realize that there is no competition, that competition is a poverty consciousness concept, and that there is more than enough clientele, there's more than enough money, there's more than enough prosperity for all of us. And there is. You know, again, I've given readings at public venues and at psychic fairs where some people were more drawn to other readers, and that was fine. You know, when I gave readings at the psychic fair at the Notions and Potions Psychic Fair at Chill Wine Bar on Saturday, May 12th, 2018, from 12 to 6 p.m., I was one of, I think, 9 or 10 readers. And I lost track of how many readings I conducted that day. And I don't know how many other readers gave readings. I don't know if all of them gave readings or if some of them only gave readings. I don't know. But there was plenty of prosperity for everybody. There was plenty of clients for everybody. And I don't look at giving readings as, well, they're my competition. I've never thought of that. There are places, especially in Manhattan, that are metaphysics stores that have readers, and I've never thought of any one of them as my competition, whether or not I've ever given readings in those stores. And you know, there's another popular metaphysics store in Manhattan. It's called Namaste, and they have an in-store readers there. And there's another one called Om Shanti, which is relatively new. They have readers in that store. I don't think of any one of them as my competition. I don't. I never have. I never will. Because it doesn't make sense to me. My studies of prosperity consciousness, especially from reading Catherine Ponder's prosperity books, there's no way that I would ever think of any professional psychic as my competition. You know? So I love seeing that one of the rewards, one of the shared rewards, is helping other professional psychics and professional readers see that there is no competition. That competition is a poverty consciousness concept, and that they are not looking at, well, you know, I mean, listen, everybody has their energy. Everybody has their energy. Everybody has their specialty. And there are some things that I bring to my readings that other readers don't. And there are some things that people prefer about my readings that other people don't. And that's how it is. You know, I'm not a starving psychic. That's just how it is. And I know that for as long as I draw breath and for as long as I give readings professionally, I'm not going to be a starving psychic. And I could keep talking about this, but I really don't want to keep talking about this. But I think I made my point across. So I love the fact that I'm going to help other readers see that competition is a poverty consciousness concept, and more importantly, it is an illusion. And that's really what it is. From a metaphysical perspective, competition is an illusion. The final message card is the High Priestess. Oh my Goddess Isis. Thank you so much. You blessed this reading. You blessed my life. Goddess Isis, Osset, Mistress of Magic, Lady of 10,000 Names, Queen of Healers. You have blessed me abundantly. And yes, Isis the alpha female is still on the bed. And then of course there's this gorgeous papyrus painting of winged Isis with her hieroglyph, the crown on top. So yes, my celestial mother, the goddess who gave birth to my soul, has blessed me enormously, massively, amazingly. And tonight I was reminded about that in more ways than one. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, thank you so much for joining me in this video. This video is longer than it normally is. Every once in a while I will make a video that's under 10 minutes long, but usually my videos are under 20 minutes long. When I do a spread, we're looking at 40 minutes, sometimes an hour. So we're approaching the 40-minute mark, but I'm finishing up this video now. Thank you, Barbara Moore, and thank you, Llewellyn, for publishing this annual, this tarot-themed annual. And yes, June is coming up soon. So in the meantime, if you have not already subscribed to the YouTube channel of yours truly, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan, and I'm going to have my awesome audiovisual person pan up to me at this point. Because I'm talking to you, YouTube. You should be looking at me, right? Right. Thank you. So, if you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. Please make sure that you click or tap the bell icon. That way you will make sure that you receive notifications every single time I upload a video. Please make sure to periodically check to make sure that you're receiving those notifications. Because sometimes, unfortunately, YouTube de-clicks, de-taps, de-notifies you. I don't know why they do that, but I've heard this from other I'm not a professional YouTuber. I've heard this from other I keep saying other. Okay, I'm not a professional YouTube channel content creator. I would rather people contact me and pay me for my psychic services than me having to do all the things that I need to do to be a successful or even semi-successful professional YouTuber. But with that being said, sometimes YouTube will select a YouTube person and then you don't receive any notifications. So I do invite you to periodically make sure that your bell icon is clicked or tapped. That way you will absolutely receive those notifications. That's number one. Number two, if you have not already scheduled a reading with me or any other kind of session with me, please do so. As most of you know, I am giving readings at Notions and Potions in Beacon, New York, this Saturday, June 8th, June 9th, Saturday, June 9th, 2018, from 12 noon to 6:30 p.m. Of course, I'm available for readings at Catland in the Bushwick section of Brooklyn, in person, by phone, or by Skype. And then, of course, I'm also available for readings at other locations. And you know what to do. And always, always, always trust the universe to provide you with everything you need to avail yourselves of my psychic services, especially if the divine guidance that you have received is that you will receive divine blessings from doing so. Because if you know you're going to receive divine blessings from using my psychic services, then all you need to do is ask the universe to provide you with everything you need to avail yourselves of my psychic services. I still have some availability in June, not much. I have a lot more in July, although that could be changing over the next few days. We'll soon find out. And then I have a lot less in August of 2018 than I have in June of 2018, which is now. But anyway, thank you, YouTube, for honoring who I am and what I do. I wish all of you many blessings of clarity, illumination, messages from the divine, and divinely abundant prosperity. And good night.